Today we're going to do a quick, simple, slow, low to the floor, gentle yoga flow that you can do in the morning, at night, or whenever you have a few minutes of your day. To start, we're going to begin in child's pose. So we're going to want to bring our knees a little wide and bring the booty towards the heels as you slowly work the chest down to the ground, letting the forehead hit the mat. If you're sore in the shoulders, bring the hands back by the feet and let those shoulders slump. If this is a little bit too deep for you, you're more than welcome to bring those knees together, resting that head down to the ground, letting the back round a little bit. Allowing yourself to find a rabbit's variation. But myself, I'm going to go nice and wide. And start to take a few deep breaths here. Really inhale through the nose. Hold it at the top of the breath. And exhale out through the mouth. Give yourself 4 to 5 rounds of that deep breath. Inhaling fully. Pausing. And exhaling completely. And as you move into those rounds of breath, just start to notice where the body is connecting to the mat, the little rise and fall that the body does with the breath, and how you generally feel at this moment. Noticing where you may be tight, where you may be sore, what feels nice and loosey-goosey, and what feels like you can add a little more active energy to. Just observing the areas of the body, the movements of the body, and the breath. We're going to move to a little side stretch here. So if our hands are by our feet, we're going to bring them in front of us. And on the exhale, we're going to walk those arms over towards the right side. As we walk the arms over, we're pushing that hip towards the left heel, getting a little side stretch in the body. I'm going to inhale, bring that back to center, sitting it down. And we're going to slowly walk those hands over to the left, pushing through those palms as you bring the heel towards the booty on the right. Inhaling, coming back to our center. Sinking down a little bit deeper into the mat, taking a nice deep breath. Letting it go. And slowly starting to roll the body up. And move into your easy seat. So whatever comfortable seated position you can find, whether it be a nice seated cross-legged, or some people like to start on their knees. You just want to find a seat that's comfortable for you. In my case, I'm going cross-legged. We're going to drop the hands on top of the knees and bring the chin to the chest. Starting with our neck rolls, we roll the right ear to right shoulder, the neck down and back, left ear to left shoulder, chin to chest. Let's do one more rotation, really stretch out that neck. When the chin is back at the chest, we'll rotate in the opposite direction. Bringing the left ear to left shoulder, the neck down and back, right ear to right shoulder, chin down to the chest. Giving us one more nice rotation in that direction. When the chin's back down, taking a nice deep inhale, drop those shoulders and let it go. We'll bring that neck up to the neutral and start to warm up our shoulders by just coming into some little shoulder rolls. Rolling them back. You can single it out if it feels good. You can make them as big as you want or as little as you want. And then we'll roll those shoulders in the opposite direction. Again, making those rolls as big as you want to go, as small as you want to go, or maybe even singling it out. we're going to bring those shoulders to stillness. We're coming into our easy twist. So if you're in the knee position, you may want to switch to seated. On the inhale, we're going to bring those arms to the sky. On the exhale, we're twisting towards the right as we plant the right hand behind us. The left hand is on the outside of the thigh. The gaze is over our shoulder. You're pushing through the heel of the right hand to keep that spine nice and long. And you're using the left to guide that twist a little bit deeper. One more breath here. We're going to be moving into easy gate next, but first we inhale back up to that midline. We want to get our length. Then on the exhale, we're planting the right hand, bending that elbow behind us, and hinging towards the right side. Rolling that shoulder back, bringing the gaze to the ceiling. When we're here, we're actively pushing that left hip into the mat. Keep the seat squared. Take a few more breaths before we go to the other side. We're inhaling, coming up to that midline and getting our length. And we're going to be twisting towards the opposite. So on the exhale, we now twist towards the left, placing the left hand behind us. The right hand on the outside of the thigh, gazes over that shoulder. One more breath here. Inhaling back up to that midline. And getting ready for that easy gate. As we exhale, we plant the left and take that hinge to the left side, rolling that shoulder behind us, gazes to the sky. Again, we're actively pushing that heel into the mat, and it isn't a big hinge, just enough to give us that stretch as we pull through those fingertips. Inhaling back up to the midline. We'll interlace those fingers, push those palms to the sky. Give our wrists a nice stretch out. And then release them down. Give those shoulders a little roll back. A little roll forward. We're going to loosen up our spine a little bit more as we move into our cat-cow. So we're going to roll onto those knees, planting those hands, getting those knees underneath the hips. So we want those wrists just a little bit before the shoulders so we don't over-compress. We're going to bring those feet and those knees nice and wide. Gaze is out neutral and down towards the ground. On the inhale, we drop the belly, bring the gaze to the ceiling. On the exhale, we round the spine, bring that chin to the chest. This is our moving into cow. As we arch the back and exhale into cat, rounding the back. Start to move at your own rate, taking the length of the inhales to transition, finding the pause between the inhale and exhale to stay, and then take the length of the exhale to transition again. A few rounds going at your own pace, waking up that spine, bringing some nice mobility into it. We'll do one more in each direction, and then we'll end at the neutral. We're moving into our thread the needle. So on the inhale, we're going to bring the right arm in the gaze up to the sky. When we're ready for the exhale, we thread the right arm underneath the left as you bring that right shoulder to the ground and the cheek. Hips stay high. Take a nice breath here. Maybe push that shoulder behind you if you want it a little bit more active. One more inhale. Let it out. And we inhale, push through the arm, bring it back up to the sky, and exhale into our midline. Take a breath to set up. Find your alignment. When we're ready to transition, we inhale the left arm up this time. Exhale, thread that needle underneath the right as you bring the shoulder and the cheek to the mat. Again, you can stay passive here and just enjoy the stretch. Or if you want to take it a little bit more active, push through that planted hand You kind of roll that shoulder behind you a little bit. One more breath. We inhale, push through that arm to bring the left arm back up to the sky. Exhale, plant those hands and we're moving into child's pose. So the knees go wide and push that booty back as you bring the forehead down to the ground. Taking a nice few deep breaths here. On our next inhale, we're going to bring the torso up high, finding our hero's pose. And our hero's is just bringing the booty onto the heels, knees are down. If this is a little uncomfortable, feel free to bring a blanket behind the knees to give you some height or to roll your mat up a little bit. But in our hero's, we want to really lift through the shoulders, elongate the spine. We're going to bring the arms around us, interlace those fingers, and push those knuckles down towards the booty. Keep the spine nice and tall, and then drop that chin to the chest. You start to squeeze the shoulder blades as we bring those knuckles down a little bit more. Giving yourselves a nice stretch here. And release. We're moving into staff. So we're going to bring those legs out in front of us. Now I have a leg injury, so this leg isn't going to go straight. Keep it safe from keeping it bent. But you want to lift those hips so you get that little pre-tilt in the pelvic and everything is nice and long. Find your stability here. Reach through the crown of the head. Plant those hands on the mat. Keep a soft bend in those elbows. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. We're going to bring our feet as wide as the mat and start to work on our hip mobility as we drop the toes in, drop the toes out to the side. As you start to rotate there, you'll notice how the entire leg goes with the toes. Making sure that that hip mobility, that ball and socket joint is working, as well as releasing any tension from that area. One more. Bring those legs back to staff, and we're coming into forward fold. If you have small back pain or you are tight through the legs, keep those knees bent for this. If not, you want to stretch them out nice and long as you reach to the crown of the head. On the inhale, we're going to bring our arms above us, and on the exhale, we'll hinge and fold. We're reaching for those toes, but it's okay to grab from the shins or from the thighs, using those elbows as we bend to help pull us down a little deeper. Keep a nice gap between chin and chest. We want a nice long spine here. Deep inhale, deep exhale, compress a little bit further. One more, and let it go. We'll slowly bring the body back up, and we're coming into half butterfly. So we're going to bring that left leg wide as we bring the right foot to the inside of the thigh here, close to the groin. First, I'm going to square my body over that right knee. Inhaling, bringing those arms up, and exhaling, hinging down, coming into a forward fold here. Now, I don't want to take a deep fold. I don't want to roll forward and lift this hip off the mat. I want that hip to stay planted. So it's not a big fold. Just enough to compress the tummy and give a little length in the leg. One more breath. Inhale, bring the body up, get that length. We're coming into knee to nose. So this time we exhale, twist towards that left leg. We want to square that body towards the foot. And on the exhale, we're hinging towards that left foot. Again, it's not that deep of a hinge. We want to keep this hip grounded down to the mat. So we're only folding as far as we stay planted. Reaching through the head, keeping a nice gap between chin and chest. You can either grab from the toes, again the outside of the shin, or the outside of the thigh. We want to make sure we stay protected here, so that foot stays flexed. A few more breaths. We're going to be coming revolved. So we inhale, lift that body up. We're taking the left hand, sliding it to the inside of this left foot. On the inhale, we bring the right arm up, circle it around, rotate through that shoulder. As we exhale, we hinge towards that leg as we work the triceps to the ear, rolling shoulder behind us and that gaze to the ceiling. Over time, you'll be able to get those fingers to those toes, but right now, just enjoy the side bend. One more breath. Inhaling out to the midline. Exhale, bringing that arm down, and we're coming in full butterfly. So we're going to bring both those feet together. Depending on where we are today on our hips, the closer the heels are to the groin, the more work we're getting in our hip flexors. The farther those feet are away, the more of a diamond shape we get, the more work we're bringing into the hamstrings. One is not necessarily easier than the other. So find whatever position you want. We want to make sure we have that pre-tilt in the hips, but the spine is nice and long so the shoulders are dropped down, so we reach the crown of the head, letting gravity take those knees to the floor. Now you can stay here and just enjoy the stillness and let gravity do its work. Or you're more than welcome to follow me as I come into the fold. If we're moving into the fold, you want to inhale, make sure you get that length through the body. Then you exhale, hinge from the hips, bringing that torso out, hands down to the ground. Neck is nice and long. We're not looking beyond us, but we're not tilting that head down. The gaze is to the floor, but just beyond you. Take a few deep breaths here. Inch those fingers a little bit further. And we'll slowly inhale, roll that body up. And bring those legs back out to staff. Again, because I have the injury, this right one's staying bent. If you have any knee issues, any hamstring issues, make sure you keep those knees softly bent. You don't want to lock that joint and damage it. So let's find that staff again. Looking through the shoulders, hands are planted. Nice long neck. Take a good breath here. Letting it out. We're getting ready for that fold. So we inhale, get our length. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Again, we're reaching for those toes, the shins, or the thigh. Reaching through the crown of the head, nice gap between chin and chest. And the gaze is towards the ground, but beyond you. Take one more deep inhale. Nice long exhale. I'm going to slowly roll that body up. And we're coming into our half butterfly on the left. So we'll extend the right leg wide, bringing that left foot to the in. Trying to bring that heel close to the groin, but wherever on the thigh is comfortable is where you want to be. We first exhale, bring the body over the knee. Take an inhale for that length. Maybe bring those arms up if it feels good. And we'll exhale, take that small hinge. Again, we want to make sure that that back hip stays planted on the mat. So we're not hinging and rolling forward. We're just giving the tummy a little compression. Maybe bending from the elbows to help bring that torso down. But we still keep both the hips planted and grounded. One more breath. Inhale, bring the body up, get that length. This time we exhale, twist towards that right foot, keeping that foot flexed. Inhale, get your length, ground down both those hips. Then exhale, come to your fold here for your knee to nose. Again, we're grabbing from the thigh, the shin, or the toes. Because this is my bad side, or my injured side, I shouldn't say bad, I'm not going into a deep fold here because that's going to overstretch my hammies. If I wanted to hinge and fold, I would bend the knee, then bring myself down. But what I'm working on is getting strength back in that leg, so I'll keep the foot flexed, keep my twist over this way, and actively work on keeping my hips grounded as I take a soft fold here. One more breath. We inhale, lift. We're coming into that revolve. So bring those arms out. As you bring the right hand to the inside of the ankle, rotate that left arm back. So you can bring that tricep by the ear and start to take your side hinge here. Again, we're bringing the gaze and the shoulder towards the ceiling, and we're actively pushing that left hip into the mat. One more breath. Inhaling, bringing that torso up. And we'll bring those feet together for our butterfly again. Finding whatever variation we want. And maybe notice how this round of butterfly feels in comparison to the first round. Can you get those feet a little bit closer to the groin? The knees get softer to the mat. Can you find your stance a little bit stronger here? Take all of those comparisons into consideration. Think about how you may want to move and adjust the body. Maybe lift those hips and replant. Maybe play with the position of the feet for a breath or two. Then take time to find that stillness, that nice inhale. And letting it go. We're coming into that fold, so we'll bring the arms up with the gaze. Exhale, take that hinge. You lead with the chest and the crown of the head, working those hands towards the ground. You want the neck nice and long, so there's a good gap between chin and chest. And the gaze is slightly beyond you. Maybe bend those elbows to help bring the torso down a little bit closer to those feet. Give yourself one more nice deep inhale. Deep exhale. We'll slowly bring the body up. And we're coming down onto our back. So we'll extend those legs nice and long. Or keep a nice bend in the knees, whatever gives you control. And slowly roll the body down and give yourself a nice full body stretch. Really reach to those toes and those fingertips. Take a nice deep breath here. Let it go. One more, stretch it long. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Then we'll bring both those knees into the chest, pulling from those shins. We're coming into supine twist. So the arms will come out like a goalpost. And on the exhale, we're going to drop both knees over towards the right as you bring that gaze over towards the left. While I'm here, I'm letting gravity take my knees down to the ground as I try to actively keep that left shoulder ground down into the mat. I want this twist to stay in my midsection and not my shoulders. So I want my back body, the upper back, to be as flat as possible. Bringing that gaze over to the left hand helps with that. One more breath. On the next inhale, we bring everything back to the midline, so knees and gaze are towards the ceiling. Pull those shins in nice and tight. Let that lower lumbar lift. Roll the ankles to one side. Roll those ankles to the other. And then we'll come into our supine twist on the left. So bring those arms back out like a goalpost. And on the exhale, we drop those knees over to the left side and bring our gaze over to the right. Again, I'm actively pushing that shoulder into the ground so that the twist stays into my midsection. And keeping the gaze towards that right hand also aids in that. If it is a little strenuous on the neck, you can keep the gaze at the ceiling. And I just enjoyed this. A little extra neck stretch. On the next inhale, we're coming back to our midline, pulling those shins in, and giving those ankles one final roll to one side, or one final roll to the other. Now we're coming in to legs up the wall. So give yourself first a few little rocks back and front, and find yourself a nice wall to get by. There is no graceful way to do this, so enjoy a little bit of the laughter, a little bit of the roll. But what we want to do is we want to get the booty as close to the wall as possible. So coming onto the side and getting right up against that wall, bringing the shoulder down, and we're going to rotate so that our legs go up the wall, letting them go nice and long, which lets the lower back stay nice and flat. Bringing those arms out to the side, and taking a few rounds of deep breath here. A little gentle inversion helps calm down the body, calm down the mind, allowing the body to get as much oxygen as it needs with those deep breaths, deep exhales. Bring clarity to our brain and to ourselves. So give yourself 5 or 6 more rounds of that deep, long inhale and exhale. Fully rising through the chest, letting it out. Each round of that breath helps you soften and relax a little bit further. Allow yourself to soften the face, release the tension from the eyebrows and the eyes. Soften your jawline. And just let go and sink. If you haven't already, you can release control of the breath, allowing the body to take the natural and effortless inhales and exhales. Letting you soften down just a little bit more. Begin to bring some movement into those fingers. Feel a wiggle on those toes. We'll gently bring those knees down to the chest. And roll over to whatever side serves you. Coming into the fetal position and taking a moment here just to seal in your practice. Honoring yourself where you are here and now, and to be loved for just that. A nice deep inhale, deep exhale. With the eyes closed, we're going to slowly work our way up to our seated position. Whatever easy seat that is for you. bringing the hands to heart center as you gently bow the head. Relax the shoulders, soften the face. The light in me honors and respects the same divine light in each of you, and all that we think, do, and say. Namaste. I hope you all enjoyed this gentle little flow. Any questions or comments, put it down below, and see you next time. Bye. Check out the new merch. Online, not in stores.